Hi, this is Mrs. Ziegler, and I'm going to go through your speed and velocity notes. So if you were absent in class, or if you just need to review the notes, this is the lecture in which was done in class. So this is a note sheet that you got in class, and if you did not get this, you can print this over at Schoology or get a hard copy when you come to class. So we know the concept of what speed and velocity. So remember, speed and velocity are the same. The only difference is, again, speed is describing how fast an object moves, basically the amount of the change in position of an object over a period of time. Whereas velocity is the same thing, but it also has direction. So remember, speed is a scalar, meaning something that has magnitude or size, and velocity is a vector because it is both speed and direction, because it has magnitude and direction. So the formula for speed or velocity, which remember from the car lab, is speed is equal to distance over time. So the abbreviation for speed is S, which again, you can interchange S for V for velocity, is always equal to distance D over time. Now, when you're solving any type of problem, calculated word problem, you're always going to follow these problem solving methods. Okay, so for all calculated problems, you must have all this work shown. If you do not, you are losing easy points. So the first thing is you're going to list all of your knowns, which means everything you know from the problem. Whereas then you have to figure out, what am I solving for? That's your unknown. Once you have that information, from there, you should be able to figure out what the formula is that you need to use in order to solve your problem. The plug and chug means once you have your formula, you're going to plug in the knowns, and then you're going to chug means solving the problem for the unknown. Then once you have your answer with the units, you check to make sure that it makes sense. If you have the correct units for what you're solving for, then you know you've made the proper formula and solved for it correctly. All right, so we're going to do the 3 practice problems on your note sheet. These are the 3 different types of speed problems or velocity problems you will see. So the first one is, what is the speed of an object if it travels 12 meters in 3 seconds? First thing is to identify what you've been given. 12 meters is your distance. Okay, so you're going to list it out. So you either circle it and identifying as distance by putting D, or you write it out. The preferred method is for you to write it out. D is equal to 12m. If you do not have your units, you're going to lose easy points. Next thing is 3 seconds. 3 seconds you should identify as time. T, again, preferred is to list it out. Then what am I solving for? Well, I underlined it. What is the speed of an object? So again, speed or velocity, V, is what you're solving for. Then we do our plug and chug. Plug and chug is, again, have your formula, S is equal to D over T. You plug in all the information you've been given, so therefore you're going to take this and plug it into the formula. By the way that it's formed in its formula, mathematically, you should know a number on top of another is divide by. So you either do the mental math or you take your calculator. And then your answer will be meters per second. So when you look here, my M does not cancel my S, so therefore I have to keep the units. These are units of speed, so therefore I know that I've set this up correctly. This is how all speed velocity problems will be solved. Now, let's go to the next one. I have a car is traveling at 20 meters per second. How much time will it take for the car to go 50 meters? So again, 20 meters per second, that is your speed. Again, you list it out. Then, how much time will it take to go 50 meters? 50 meters is distance. How much time is what you're solving for? So T is what I'm solving for. So again, you write your formula, you plug in all the information. So again, if you plug everything in, you're solving for T. So you can either solve for T by solving this algebraically, or you can use this other formula in which I've rearranged to solve for what you're solving for. So since I'm solving for T, if you use this formula, T is equal to D over S, meaning distance over speed, you will solve for time. So again, I plug in my information. Mathematically, then I know again I'm going to divide. Since m, there's a duplicate m here, since there's duplicate units, those cancel out so that all I'm left with is a unit that I want, which would be seconds, time. So again, you're plugging in all the information based into the formula. It doesn't matter which formula you use, you just need to make sure that you plug it into the right space. All right, last problem. An airplane travels at 100 meters per second. Again, 100 meters per second is speed. Then it says, what is the distance traveled in 20 seconds? 20 seconds is time. Again, I list that out. Then the question says, what distance? So that's what I'm solving for. Then again, I start with my formula. So S is equal to D over T. Again, I plug everything in to the formula of what I've been given. Again, I'm solving for D. So if looking at this, you can't solve for it mathematically. If I rearrange it to solve for what I'm looking for, so in this case it's distance, the actual formula would then be really distance is equal to speed times time. I plug all that in, numbers are next to each other, so therefore mathematically I'm going to multiply. Since S, there's a duplicate of S that cancels each other out, so therefore I'm left over with the unit that I want, which is meters. So those are the three different types of problems you will have in a speed or velocity type problems. Now the last part of your notes are units to help you to identify what you've been given. So again, speed and velocity are the same. So the SI units for distance we know is meters, M. For time, it's seconds, S. For speed, it's meters per second. Again, unit of distance over a unit of time. Another unit of distance that you should know and recognize is miles, which the abbreviation is MI. Hours, which again the abbreviation is HR or H, and then the abbreviations for speed using these units would be MPH, which is actually miles per hour. You will see it sometimes as MI/H or HR, which is still the same thing. You should be able to also recognize that there's other units of distance. I have not listed them all here, but I've listed some of the common ones, such as inches, yards, and feet. Same thing with time. There's other units. So we have minutes. You'll see that. But there's also days, months, weeks, years. Okay? Those are all units of time. And then, again, for velocity and speed, you can use any of these units. But again, remember that these can be feet per second, feet per hour, feet per years. It's a unit of distance over a unit of time. It's still speed and velocity. Here I've got inches per second, which can also mean inches per minute, inches per hour, yards per hour, yards per second, yards per feet, or I'm sorry, yards per minute. Any unit of distance over any unit of time means that it is a speed or velocity. If you have any questions when completing these types of problems, please make sure you reach out. But you are responsible for this information.